Okay, continuing writing my manuscript, The Words of Mary. I don't know if it turns into anything beyond even these YouTube reflections. It gives me a chance to think autoethnographically, right? Today, it's a second reflection on Behold, I am the handmaid of the Lord. May it be done according to me, according to your word. June 17, 2015. I have never succeeded professionally. Rather, I have done something like falling up, just not falling up in the way most people use the phrase falling up in work settings. I don't mean that I've been so bad at a job that I've been promoted, such as when an inept administrator is moved around in a business to cause the least damage to the bottom line. Rather, I mean that I have never successfully landed a professional job through an ordinary interview process. In 1997, when I finished student teaching and was awarded Student Teacher of the Year at Clarion University of Pennsylvania, I hoped to teach at a high school. After futilely interviewing for several positions in rural Pennsylvania, I drove to Winchester, Virginia for a high school band job interview, which I also did not win. By the end of the summer, I was certain I would have to do other work, perhaps as a laborer or continue working as a security guard. But just a week before the start of the 1997-98 school year, Hartford County, Maryland Public Schools contacted me with a job opening in middle school and elementary band. The only interview I had done with that district was a mass interview at a jobs fair in Clarion's campus many months before. Having not been contacted about a return interview, I had assumed that interview was also unsuccessful. Similarly, when I moved to Pittsburgh, I interviewed unsuccessfully with several school districts. I began substitute teaching in August, and by September, when a K-8 general music teacher became ill, I began day-to-day subbing with that school, which I continued through that school year. Having received highest praise from my administrators, parents, and other teachers, by the time interview season came around, I was hired permanently with a different school in that district, and continued to work with the Pittsburgh Public Schools until 2011, when I decided to return to university to earn a PhD. When interviewing for doctoral programs, a common refrain emerged, as I was not accepted into any. Penn State, however, offered to let me in to their master's program on a tentative basis, which, if I proved myself, I could move into the doctoral program I had wanted to attend. One of the doctoral students accepted in 2011 changed her major to adult education, and I began doctoral work at Penn State, earning the doctoral diploma in May 2015. Despite being highly regarded as a teacher and scholar, I then had a long, unsuccessful number of years applying for tenure-line jobs in higher education, while working part-time as an adjunct at a Penn State branch campus. I left that job after 6.5 years and failed to successfully interview for any public school teaching jobs. But when a middle school general music teacher broke her hip, I covered her classes for a few months. And then when another middle school teacher left mid-year to return home in the West, finished the year as a long-term sub at another middle school. I interviewed for public school teaching jobs during that summer and was not offered any. I spent half that year day-to-day subbing. Even the job I currently have, when I was hired for it, there were no other applicants. And I had day-to-day subbed in it for a few weeks to demonstrate. And I had to day-to-day sub sub in it for a few weeks to demonstrate that I could handle the work. What does it mean to never have anybody believe in your professional capabilities? This is an existential thing that I have wrestled with for years. I've only ever fell up into positions I would not otherwise have been offered. I longed for a university teaching job, and saw myself through an admittedly romantic lens at a small liberal arts college somewhere, conversing with college students as they grow into themselves. If it weren't for my faith, for the Lord with me according to his word, for the Lord doing with me according to his word, I would sink into despair, never to reemerge into the light.